Welcome back, everybody. You're watching Sport Federation TV. Nice to have you along with us. We now turn our attention to the world of jiu-jitsu and boxing, and this time from Strictly Fighting Gym in the Strand. I've got in studio with me Olivia Jade Williams from the world of Western Cape Boxing. They've got a boxing academy in a club in the Strand area, together with Tyrone van Aarde. Tyrone is, of course, from jiu-jitsu, and the two of them together are in the same boxing club. Guys, did I get it right? Tyrone, welcome. Olivia, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so let's just start. You're kind of a different scenario for us today, because you've got two different martial arts. I mean, boxing is also a martial art, but you've got open boxing, which is, of course, the world of amateur boxing, Olivia.
Yes.
And you're combining it in the same training space with Tyrone in the world of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
How do you guys make that work, Tyrone? You guys share the space?
Yeah, so we in between each other something, but the boxing has their own separate space, the ring and where they train, where we do the HIIT workouts as well. And then we've got our mat section, so where we train the jiu-jitsu competitors and whoever comes in for jiu-jitsu or self-defense. But yeah, we'd sometimes train with the boxers for fitness, and then they would come onto the mat for a little bit of close combat drills and stuff,
So this is definitely a sort of a crossover scenario, Olivia. But tell us a little bit about Strictly Fighting and the boxing side of things for a second. Who is at your club?
Yeah, so currently, as you mentioned, we affiliated with the Western Cape Open Boxing Organization. Our focus is on amateur boxing and just, developing our boxers. So currently we have a Western Cape qualified coach, which is Coach Lunga. He's also co-owner of Strictly Fighters with myself, Tyron and Sean. And I think our main focus is just, again, to grow the sport. But like you mentioned, we have a bit of a crossover, at our space. However, it's worked for us. We have a really great relationship. And our gym is sort of the first of its kind in the Helderberg region with crossing over various disciplines. We have self-defense, we have wrestling as well. But just in terms of the boxing, we looking at not only just, developing amateur boxers, but also tapping into the professional realm. And we've built quite I would say, a proper boxing team. And they are extremely talented. In as much as we have our clients, we also have we currently have boxers from, the local community within Strand, and they've gone through to Western Cape. We had two boxers represent us at essays as well. So it's been growing quite well.
Well, I think you've just given me the whole history of boxing in about 2 minutes. So let's move a little bit here. Tyrone, jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is it's really taken the world by storm in the last 10 years. Everyone talks about the Gracie family, BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I think more recently, obviously, South Africa's on the map in terms of Jiu-Jitsu because of Drickus and his performance in the UFC. But where did the Jiu-Jitsu side start for you?
So I started with wrestling about 13 years ago. I've been doing wrestling, so under Coach Andrew. And then about 2 years ago, my brother told me, look, get into it. Sean Als, my head coach. So he started in Thailand. He just told me, look, get into it with your wrestling and you'll just be dominating, learn a bit of submissions. And that's what I did. I thought, okay, let's get into this realm of sport of jiu-jitsu. I also kind of thought, like, what's this? It's kind of new to me. And then just jumped into the sport of it with Edwin at Brothers in Grappling. And fell into that. And I started loving it. Learning how to submit and just learn the discipline of it was a little bit different than the wrestling. But
why do you say that? Why do you say it was different? I mean, in jiu-jitsu, you guys have got two formats, right? You've got one where you wear what you call a gi, the clothing, those white jackets, folks, that we see, or the blue jackets. But then you also have the no-gi, where basically guys are wearing a tight top or a shorts. Yeah,
like a rash guard and a short, right? So I do the no-gi. I'm more a no-gi fighter. My brother likes the gi. But the gi is totally different when it comes to something like that. And when you look at wrestling is very similar to no-gi, because we wear singlets and there's not much clothing to grab on. You're not allowed to grip anything. So when it came to that, I was used to it. And the gi I tried the first time, it was a little bit weird to me, a little bit strange, but loved it as well. But now, like the no-gi I've taken further now, and I've become a blue belt, and it's going quite well, can't complain about it.
Of course, a blue belt in jiu-jitsu is a pretty high rank.
It's definitely.
A lot of people think maybe karate, compare it to karate. Or judo, and the blue belt is a slightly lower rank, but in jiu-jitsu, if you've got a blue belt, it's pretty serious stuff.
Pretty serious. Like blue belts are like beating up black belts lately. That's how crazy it's been going. But yeah, it's an insane sport. Loving the sport, and it's growing quite quickly in South Africa itself.
Yeah.
Looking at Luke Griffith, that's competing at the ADCCs in America. He trains under one of New Wave, a big jiu-jitsu club in overseas.
Yeah.
He's made a big storm for it, and yeah, so South Africa's growing just in the martial arts generally.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about the boxing side of things. You've got multiple programs that are running at Strictly Fighting. You've got different age groups. You've got guys that are potentially going to move from amateur space into the cadet space and maybe even become professional boxers one day.
Yeah, so for us, that's obviously our focus, and I mean we've also kept a tight relationship, with the Western Cape Open Boxing organization. So myself as well. So I've assisted at various different avenues with Western Cape Open Boxing. So I'm a qualified referee and judge, and then I also assist at Kailicha Boxing Academy, which is an NPO that we also run, which focuses on education through sport. And over there we have an array of talent on an amateur level and on a professional level. So some of our guys, they've gone through to reach professional levels as well. So I think that's been quite an exciting experience for us. And I think with myself personally, like I used to be a boxer as well. I used to box for Western Cape, used to box for the University of the Western Cape as well.
Is that how you started before you got into administration?
Yeah.
Were you just simply a boxer?
Yeah, I was simply
before
a
you
boxer.
Said, okay, now I'm going to actually start doing boxing administration.
Yeah, so when I was 18, I started boxing at the University of the Western Cape. However, for me, my career was always going to be first, which is law. So I'm a qualified lawyer. And that for me has always been my passion. And then because I know there's always, a gap in terms of administration, for different, bodies, I've always wanted to I think my passion drove me to want to be part of the administrative side of it. Even though I'm not that much involved, I try and help where, I can. So currently, I assist Western Cape, Open Boxing and SA Open Boxing with drafting of policies, amending the constitution for both Western Cape and SA Boxing. I assist in refereeing and judging where I can and where I have the time. So I think that for me is my passion, the groundwork behind the scenes.
Do you think that with that sort of skill set, that you bring to the table. I mean, most sports administrators will think that the physical side is what's going to make the difference. But do you think that with your administrative skills that you bring to the table, that there's an improvement in the club model, in the members model, and the athletes themselves get better?
Yeah, I think from an administrative perspective, you try your best to help where you can, because it's like building a house, you start with your foundation. So your foundation that you're laying is all the paperwork that you do, is the connections that you make. And it's been a challenge, but I've been trying my best. I'm not the only person. I know there's many other boxers and also people within administration that's trying their best, to assist where they can. At the end of the day, my core focus has always been, what's going to be the best interest of the boxer. Coming from a boxing background, being a boxer, as a child, you've gone through certain challenges, and now that you're older, you're trying to, your best to assist where you can, because at the end of the day, my view is, if there's any challenges happening, the people that's the most affected is your boxer. Where anything happens, it's your boxer. And I think we've been trying our best to assist where we can.
Do you guys have the same kind of model at JITS?
Yes, definitely. They're actually hosting one on Friday. Sorry. For Saturday's ADCC. So they want to try and get as many referees together and staff actually just to help out on the day and get the certifications out, get people to come through. So we have days that certain days throughout the month that you can go do they'll send it out through the groups.
Yeah. Folks, we're chatting to Tyrone van Aarde and Olivia Williams from not Strictly Come Dancing, but Strictly Fighters. They're a boxing and jiu-jitsu club in the Strand area. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll come back to them and find out a little bit more about boxing and jiu-jitsu and self-defense and it's all that's happening at the Strictly Fighters Club in the Strand. Don't go away. Welcome back, folks. In studio with me, Tyrone van Aarde and Olivia Jade Williams from Strictly Fighters Martial Arts Boxing Jiu-Jitsu Club in the Strand area. All right, let's go back to you, Tyrone. You mentioned ADCC,
Yes.
all right, which I was thinking of ACDC, but it's ADCC,
Yeah.
which you said is the Abu Dhabi Combat Club, and you mentioned that this is sort of the Olympic style, the international organization for jiu-jitsu.
Yes, so it started in about like 1983 or something like that when they started actually in Saudi, in Abu Dhabi, sorry.
Yeah.
And it was like a new age gladiator, invited people. And now it's become a big place to compete. We got our ADCC South Africa, and in Africa, like we're having this Saturday, to get our points up. And then also like Africa is the trials, so the winner of the 16-man will get a ticket to Europe and will be able to go compete
so
there.
It's particularly good to know that because it's so important that the public are aware that clubs belong to international organizations.
Definitely.
To make them legitimate. Because today, martial arts guys, they pop up in a garage, they start their own style, they don't really belong to anything. They give themselves blue belts and black belts
Exactly.
and call themselves masters and that. So it's does that feel for you guys that you've got part of a structure? You have a part of a family. There's other clubs in South Africa that belong to an international organization?
Yes, definitely. With Jiu-Jitsu, it's South Africa's community in Jiu-Jitsu is actually quite nice. We actually, Saturdays, we'd go to someone's club for free, go roll with them, and then they would come to us on a Saturday. So it's a big community thing. Clubs are always speaking between one another. It's not like a competition. Who wants to get more students? It's actually who can get students together, so we have a bigger competition on that Saturday, you know, and like more competitors.
You mentioned that family sort of structure amongst the jiu-jitsu guys. The picture from the world of martial arts historically was that it's very violent and that it could be quite a rough environment, but jiu-jitsu brings this element of humility and that you have to be humble when you go on the floor and respect your opponent. And there's really a sense of comfort. And that the competition environment, even though the guys are competitive, you don't feel threatened in the jiu-jitsu space.
No, you don't at all. I could actually compare it to the wrestling as well. The wrestling is a different space. But jiu-jitsu, yes, very more comfortable, if I can say it like that. They like community work. We want to grow the sport as big as what we can. So yeah, when it comes to competition and to just training, it's just the same type of feeling, family feeling, you know.
I think, Olivia, staying on a sort of a similar thread, the world of boxing brings a similar type of value for fighters. I mean, one would think that a fighter is a fighter, but the ability to learn fighting teaches you to not fight. And it also teaches you a lot about other things, such as hard work, self-discipline, a value system. Do you feel that that's in your space?
No, 100%. I think, you know, one of our logos, our slogans at the gym is hard work and dedication. You know, and I think when it comes to boxing, it's not just an individual sport or a lonely sport. What I've noticed, you know, around the boxing community is actually a family. And when you make it, you know, into your Western Cape team or even your district level teams or your SA teams, you're not there just as an individual. Yes, you're there to get your own colors, but you're there to represent, you know, whether it be your district, whether it be your country, whether it be your province. And that sort of forms a sense of like camaraderie amongst the boxers. And even though you're stepping into the ring, competing with the next person, there's still that sense of respect, you know, with most of the guys stepping in or most of the girls stepping in as well. And, you know, when it comes to boxing as well, I think a lot of the boxers that we do have are quite disciplined. So I think, you know, we made a joke earlier about, you know, do you want to actually go ahead and fight out on the outside? But you don't. It does teach a big, you know, form of discipline for every person coming in. And I think it also starts from your coaches, you know, downwards to your boxers, you know, what you instill into your boxer is how they are going to, you know, treat the next person.
So, Tyrone, let's tap onto that then for a second. You were a South African wrestling champion, jiu-jitsu champion. To be able to do that, you have to deploy a lot of self-discipline.
Definitely.
You've got to get up early in the morning. You've got to eat right. You've got to still do your work during the day. And then you've got to find time to train, find time to sleep, deal with your injuries. That brings, that provides no time for causing nonsense.
Exactly.
You only have to work.
Exactly. It doesn't leave you time to play around, you know. So you train, eat, sleep. That's basically the routine, and work. But that's where it is with the wrestling as well, the jiu-jitsu. Just training injuries as well. It's just maintaining that is a difficult part of it. Self-discipline is that's what jiu-jitsu teaches you. Boxing as well.
Yeah.
That's what we try and teach the people coming into the gym. Is just have self-discipline, discipline overall for juniors as well. They don't always get that, and martial arts gives that to them. The discipline.
So do you guys spend time in the club, not just physical training and physical fighting? Do you spend time talking and motivating your students?
Yes, definitely. We actually we'd sit down a lot of times and they'd ask us questions and stuff. So we have those times set apart for that, and then we have our training times where it's just full-on training.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have their comfort zone where they can come and ask us things, and we would tell them about it and just teach them about discipline.
Yeah. And the same for boxing, Olivia. There's a lot of mentoring.
There definitely is. I mean, when you're in the space of boxing, you have kids coming from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And it's not just a case of you coming to come and, compete inside a gym or in a space. You essentially become a family, or you become a parent to this person walking in. There's a lot of traveling, a lot of going to tournaments and competitions. So parents are entrusting you with their child. And that's what we get in the space of boxing. So you have kids, like I mentioned, coming from different backgrounds, but they face these different challenges. So it's up to you as a coach, to come in and say, how can we assist? How can we help? And we've been in spaces where we've had to assist, with homework and things like that as well.
Yeah.
Because kids, again, there's different challenges coming. So if you can help your boxer to the best of their ability, they'll be able to, excel or exceed in the sport.
So is there a sort of a twinning program between you guys in the Strand and the Khayelitsha Boxing Club, or is that all part of the Western Cape structure and you guys just work together? How does that work?
So essentially, because myself and the head coach at Strictly Fighters, so we form part of Khayelitsha Boxing Academy. It's an NPO that we were part of prior to us opening Strictly Fighters. So we do a lot of community work, and that's where our passion lies as well.
This is, of course, strictly fighting. Do we call it a gym, a boxing club, a jiu-jitsu club, or how do you guys refer to it, so that if people were looking for you in the area and want to join in the Strand area, what are they looking for?
Yeah, we just
It's a Strictly Fighters martial arts gym. So
is it findable on Facebook? Where's the best place to get hold of you?
Yeah,
guys?
so we have our own website, which is strictlyfighters.com.
Okay.
Or they can reach us at info@strictlyfighters.com. And then we also on social media, which is Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Strictly Fighters.
Do you guys do a lot of media? Is that something that you deal with, Tyrone?
yeah, so Olivia loves media.
Yeah?
She
Yeah,
loves it.
I do. So I happen to be the advert person, the everything, the mother. So I do social media as well. So
Yeah.
I'm big into that also.
But you also make, I understand you do a weekly radio show?
Yeah, we do radio session every Tuesday
Yeah.
on Helderberg FM, 12:30. So those who are listening, you guys can pop in on a Tuesday. But yeah, it's quite fun. We get to speak about boxing and jiu-jitsu in the realm, and just grow the sport throughout different areas,
What comes next for you guys now? You've obviously got competitive guys in the ADCC space, jiu-jitsu. There's obviously a channel from being from a club structure. You want to compete at a provincial structure, national structure. What comes next for you guys now in terms of the calendar?
So I would say, okay, after this ADCC happening now, Africa, and then from next year...
This is this weekend?
This weekend, the 30th
at
November.
UCT?
At UCT, we'll be competing. And then from December is going to be quite quiet for us, who's not competing relative pro. And then January, February is going to be another ADCC. I'm waiting for the calendar to come out, and then it's normally the beginning of the year that we're going to hit the first ADCC again.
Yeah.
And then it's AJP and the other big comps for the calendar. So there's a lot more comps in the beginning of the year than the end of the year.
Are there events in Cape Town, in the Western Cape, that the public can come and watch?
Definitely. They host it mostly in Cape Town, in the centres. Like Camps Bay and UCT, the main areas.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happens quite often. Not just jiu-jitsu, but there's a lot of things happening around in martial arts in this area. So for anyone who wants to go look out and go check out the martial arts space, there's anywhere to go look at.
And Olivia, same for you guys from a boxing point of view. It's district level, provincial level, national level. Africa Continental Championships. I mean, you're aiming.
Yeah,
you've got a lot of events coming up.
Yeah, we do. We actually have a tournament this weekend as well. The tournament will be held at our gym, Strictly Fighters. It's going to be an amateur boxing event, so it's sanctioned under Western Cape Open Boxing. So it will take place this weekend, actually, at our gym. At Strictly Fighters, we'll have 15 very, very heated bouts. We'll have boxers from around the Western Cape. You know, we have guys coming from the West Coast as well.
Yeah.
So that's taking place this weekend on the 30th of November at our gym.
Tyrone, fantastic chatting with you. We're looking to see where the world of jiu-jitsu is going. Good luck for your events this weekend. I'm sure that you guys with Strictly Fighters are going to be shining in the ADCC space.
Yeah, definitely. We'd love to.
Yeah.
We're going to go make a splash.
You're going to make a splash. And Olivia, congratulations on all the great work you guys are doing in the world of boxing.
Thank you so much.
And I'm sure that after tonight's episode, your Strictly not Come Dancing gym, but your Strictly Fighters gym is going to be absolutely packed with more students doing martial arts, wanting to learn boxing, jiu-jitsu, self-defense, and general fitness and well-being. So thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
I appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you.
Cheers.
There we go, folks. Jiu-jitsu, boxing, it's all happening in the Strand area. Strictly Fighters. Go and find them on strictlyfighters.com. You can also find them on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Facebook. And go and join the gym, get involved in the world of martial arts. Fantastic way to learn a bit of self-discipline, to teach yourself, or your kids even, some value systems, especially things like sense of humility and respect. You can learn that all in the boxing space and in the martial arts space. That's a wrap from us tonight. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic sporting weekend. Bye-bye.